Tim Hortons is a Canadian multinational coffee house and a restaurant chain based in Toronto. Tim Hortons is famous for the iconic original blend coffee, double coffees, donuts, and Timbits, and other fast food items. Canadian's largest quick service restaurant chain with more than 5,000 restaurants in 15 countries in North America, Middle East, Europe, and some countries in Asia. But we don't have a store in Vietnam. And why not Vietnam then? Your next potential market to open your next Tim Hortons store. So now I will let you know more about the Vietnamese market. So Vietnam is a Southeast Asia third biggest market and one of the world's fastest developing economies. Low cost and legislation that promote foreign investment are only a few of variables that attract international investors, and there are more reasons to make Vietnam a next stop for Tim Hortons. So about the geographic location, Vietnam is located at the crossroads of international maritime and aviation routes, creating ideal conditions for exchanges with countries, which benefit your way to bring products all the way from Canada to Vietnam. In addition, with the position of our country as a gateway to the Sea of Thailand and Southwest China, which are those countries that Tim Hortons already had branches, make it easier to supply products to Vietnam in case that it is not ready all the way from Canada. So talking about the economic and political aspect, Vietnam has always welcomed foreign direct investment, which is FDI, and encouraged by continuously renewing regulation for FDI. The Vietnamese government offers a number of incentives to foreign investors. For example, these tax benefits include reduce corporate income tax or tax exemption, exemption from import tax, reduction or exemption of land rent and land use tax. We are Tim Hortons, right? It's coffee. So let's take a look at how the coffee market in Vietnam is working right now. So a little bit about the history.
First cafes appear in Hanoi, and what were they like?
Quán cà phê đầu tiên ở Hà Nội là mở năm 1883. Người Pháp từng phục vụ trong một căng tin của quân đội Pháp ở Hà Nội. Khi nghỉ hưu thì bà mở quán cà phê ở phố Polbet, nay thì gọi là phố Tràng Tiền. Đầu tiên quán cà phê này chủ yếu là phục vụ cho người Pháp, nhưng sau đó thì dần dần nó trở thành một cái nơi mà những người Việt Nam mà làm công chức trong bộ máy chính quyền của người Pháp họ cũng đến đó uống.
Let's talk about the Vietnamese coffee drinking culture. Vietnamese people enjoy coffee in their own way. Vietnamese coffee is often made in the French style that is using a filter. People pour boiling water over the coffee, then sit and wait for it to soak into the water, and finally filter every drop. And Vietnamese do not consider coffee as just an energy drink like the Canadians do, but rather as a culture of sipping and meditation, sitting beside a cup of coffee, talking a little story while reading newspaper, listening to music, chatting with friends or business partners that make your morning the best. Tim Hortons will have a lot of competitive advantages when they entering the Vietnamese market. So the first one is that Vietnamese people love coffee. To Vietnamese, coffee is a way of life, not just simply a beverage. The Vietnamese know how to make, drink, and appreciate the liquid black gold, and they have truly made it a part of their everyday lives. Moreover, Tim Hortons has a diverse menu with a variety of choices, with hot and cold drinks, breakfast and lunch, sweet cake like the original Timbits, especially the sweet option. Cake that is sold in Vietnamese cafe is quite expensive, around $3 to $5 for just a piece of cake. Meanwhile, a 10 Timbits box is just $1.99, even less than $2. Next advantage seem like nothing, but the self-order kiosk and the drive-thru system, they can be a huge advantage compared to other coffee shops in Vietnam. Many Vietnamese wish to have an automatic order system in which they do not have to interact with the employee, they can have more time and a better look at the menu, and significantly, it saves more time. You don't have to walk out of the car or waiting at the line. Last but not least, advantages. Vietnamese people like to do charity and donate to foundations, and Tim Hortons has a lot of community initiatives. For example, Tim Hortons Foundation comes and Smile Cookies program. They all donate 100% of the process to support kids. Entering a new market, there are definitely some difficulties and challenges ahead, and one of the biggest challenges when entering the Vietnamese coffee market is the competition between local coffee shop and other international coffee chain that already has experience in the Vietnamese market. Vietnamese people love coffee. We have a long tradition for coffee. That is a big advantage, but it's also a disadvantage. So why? Let's watch a video and find out the reason.
Vietnam knows its coffee. It's famous for a thick, heavy brew sweetened with condensed milk. A cup of traditional café Suda is made with Robusta beans, which have a sharper, bitter flavor and higher caffeine content than more mild Arabica beans. You won't find the traditional style in a Starbucks. That's because most international coffee chains only serve Arabica beans, which are more mild than Robusta beans. And while that may work for customers in many countries, in Vietnam, serving only Arabica is a problem.
The other problem is the Vietnamese local coffee shop. There are thousands of them with a cheap price and a stable quality. Let's take Starbucks, Tim Hortons' biggest competitor in Canada, for example, through a video.
Living in the world's second largest coffee exporter, Vietnamese people have tons of local options when it comes to coffee. The market is highly fragmented, with small family-owned and independent shops making up the bulk of coffee sales. There are over 540,000 restaurants in Vietnam, and over 430,000 of them are street stalls. Even the 5 largest coffee chains in Vietnam collectively hold just a fraction of the market, 15.3%. And even though Starbucks holds the number 2 spot in sales, it's still less than 3% of the entire coffee market in Vietnam. At those small roadside shops, coffee costs less than $1. They're fast, and some provide services like Wi-Fi and shoe shines. And their biggest advantage? There are thousands of them.
So that is the local shop. What about the other Vietnamese coffee chains like Cộng Café, a vintage cafe store design, or Highland Coffee, 1,000 of store brands in Vietnam? They are old, experienced in the Vietnamese market. Direct competition with the bubble tea in Vietnam. Around 2002, bubble tea first appeared in Vietnam. As the beverage gained popularity, a number of foreign brands started popping up. New bubble tea stores have regularly emerged, offering a range of new tastes in appealing packaging. The fever for bubble tea has grown in recent years as the drink has become more and more affordable and accessible. According to the recent survey, the Vietnamese people's love for bubble tea has led the country to the 3rd largest market in Southeast Asia for consuming bubble tea. In 2021, Vietnamese people spent around $362 million to buy bubble tea. Furthermore, it's a desire of the coffee shop. Let's take a look at the Tim Hortons and Starbucks in Toronto. There are more Tim Hortons stores, but most of them are small and tiny. We can clearly see that if the library system is closed for the whole city, people tend to choose Starbucks as their place for working on deadlines. This is proved by when you go to YouTube and search "Study with me at Starbucks," there are lots of videos. But what about "Study with me at Tim Hortons"? There are few or nothing. And with a market like Vietnam, where the library system are poor, people like to work at a chill, clean, and pretty coffee shop. Therefore, if Tim Hortons can make their store design like the Tim Hortons in Shanghai, China, I'm pretty sure that they can attract lots of millennials and Gen Z customers. So despite all the difficulties, I believe with my suggestion, Tim Hortons might be able to have a place in the Vietnamese coffee market. First, we need to focus on the quality, not quantity. Focus on building a qualified store with a modern design, with a signature red and wood color of Tim Hortons, lots of working space and lots of lights for people to work there. Furthermore, adjust the menu for the Vietnamese market. Looking at the Starbucks menu in Vietnam, we can see there are no Vietnamese special drinks. Then what about Tim Hortons making a special drink for Vietnamese market only? I suggest egg coffee, which is a signature coffee in Vietnam, for Windsor love it. Let's watch a video and find out about this kind of coffee.
Located in a small alley in Hanoi's Old Quarter, Geographic is the place that created the world-famous coffee drink.
Wow. Just getting here is part of the fun, walking down a dark alley. And now that I'm inside, I can see the place is bustling with customers. What cafe John? I'm here at Cafe Jiang, which has been in a Hanoi institution since 1926, to enjoy a Hanoian egg coffee. Thick, rich, smooth, delicious. This is a very unique cup of coffee. You can't get this anywhere else in the world.
Moving on, let's bring Tim Hortons to the shopping malls in Vietnam like the Eon Shopping Mall Chance, Vincom Shopping Mall Chance, or we can also locate Tim Hortons in some amusement parks, resorts, hotels, and luxury residential areas belonging to the Vingroup company, the largest business group of Vietnam, focusing on the technology, real estate, and services from healthcare to hospitality. Vietnamese now get used to with the shipping services. So what about make Tim Hortons available on food delivery apps like Shopee, Grab, Baemin, etc. So what about we find Tim Hortons a celebrity ambassador in Vietnam? Vietnamese fans love and trust their idol. They would do or buy products that their idol are currently promoting to support or keep movement with their celebrities. That is all of my presentation. I hope Tim Hortons can consider expanding their branches to Vietnam. And thank you so much for your attention.